From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Environmental activists took to the Capitol aiming to get Governor Doug Ducey to join the fight against climate change.
Plus, doctors in the fight against opioid addiction are using new technologies to give patients more access to healthcare workers.
And Senator John McCain sends an emotional message to future U.S. service members to put the country ahead of political infighting.
Cronkite News starts now.
And welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Ryan Curry.
And I'm Maya Petros. Thank you for joining us. Environmental groups are gathering at the Capitol today, trying to get the governor on board with efforts to fight climate change. Cronkite News reporter Holly Bach is live in downtown Phoenix, where students are gathering and asking for cleaner buses.
And as you can see right behind me, these are school bus Halloween costumes, and students will be wearing these as they walk around the Capitol later today. I'm currently here at the Chispa headquarters, and this is a Latino environmental group asking for a settlement money from the VW lawsuit that will be used to buy buses with electricity. Now, they were not the only environmental group there at the Capitol later today.
Governor Ducey, your citizens are speaking to you.
Leaders of environmental, business, and faith groups are calling on Arizona Governor Doug Ducey to bring more awareness to the effects of climate change on Arizona and the rest of the world.
To tell Governor Ducey that while the impacts of climate change for Arizona are very scary, the solutions are not.
At the news conference, the director of the Sierra Club demanded Ducey join more than 10 other governors pledging to reduce carbon emissions for cleaner air and improve energy efficiency.
Climate change is the defining moral issue of our time because it affects every single thing on the planet.
What I find really scary is that our future generations have to ask for something that should be an entitlement.
The group sent a letter signed by more than 2,000 Arizonans asking Ducey to support the goals of the Paris Climate Accord. The letter states the U.S. will be left behind unless there is a concerted effort by people at the state and local levels.
There's great opportunity for our economy and for better protecting our environment and the public's health.
Cronkite News reached out to the governor's office for a response and have still not heard back yet. From downtown Phoenix, Holly Bach, Cronkite News.
People struggling with addiction now have new resources to help them in their fight. And Kiriko and Marinier shows us how new technology is being used to provide more people with access to health care.
According to the American Society of Addiction Medicine, more than 2 million people in the U.S. were addicted to prescription pain medicine in 2016. Janet Major works for the Arizona Telemedicine Program, and she says that with telehealth, a technology that allows healthcare workers to serve patients via telecommunications, distance is no object.
We have people traveling several hours from the White Mountains or from other areas here in Arizona to do a 5-minute pre- or post-surgery checkup, when we have technology that allows us to do the same thing at a distance without them having to put gas in the car.
She says she hopes to see this technology not just in clinics, but in homes in the future. In Glendale and Kiriko Marinier, Cronkite News.
Says that studies show some patients prefer telehealth because it is less intimidating. Cronkite News is dedicating to covering the opioid crisis. Our documentary Hooked RX, From Prescription to Addiction, highlights the problems of painkillers in Arizona. Find resources for getting help online at hookedrx.org.
Maricopa County Sheriff's Office inmates say they're going on a 3-day hunger strike to protest the food conditions at detention centers. Families of inmates held a news conference today, organized by Tonatiuh Barrio Defense Committees. Salvador Reza, a community organizer for the group, says Sheriff Paul Penzone is serving the same food as former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. The father of an inmate, Mickey Hannon, described what his son is eating as slop.
My son, he said, "Dad, I don't know what they put in this thing. Nobody puts in it, but we're starving, so we have to eat it."
The inmates say the hunger strike will last 3 days. Cronkite News reached out to the Sheriff's Office for comment, but haven't heard back yet.
A deadly attack in Lower Manhattan is under investigation as a possible act of terrorism. At least 8 people were killed and several others injured when a rented Home Depot truck drove on a popular bike path near the World Trade Center. Initial reports from the scene say that the driver got out of the truck screaming and showed them 2 imitation firearms. Police say the man was shot by officers and is in custody. Meanwhile, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake wants new rules requiring the Pentagon to update Congress on military actions abroad. Flake talked about the updating of the authorization of the use of military force resolution in a committee hearing last night. Washington Bureau reporter Fraser Allen Best was there with the details from Capitol Hill.
When Congress first authorized military action against terrorists in the wake of the September 11th attacks, Jeff Flake was a freshman member of the House. He says that's a problem.
Not one senator on that panel was here in 2001 to vote on the original AUMF.
Flake's comments came after a Foreign Relations Committee hearing Monday in which Defense Secretary James Mattis and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson told senators that the current AUMF for authorized use of military force didn't need to be replaced. But Senator Tim Kaine said it's not the military record that matters, but the possibilities going forward.
Generations-long war potentially without Congress weighing in is just untenable given the constitutional framework we have.
Kaine, a Democrat, and Flake, a Republican, are co-sponsors of a resolution calling for a new AUMF vote and a 5-year time limit on any approval. Their plan would allow military action against ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, or any other non-state forces that Congress determined were affiliated with terrorism. The measure was not the subject of Monday's hearing, but Kaine and Flake are confident that their plan is gaining support in Congress, if not from the White House.
We've got the commitment of the chairman to move ahead, and like I said, an administration will always take whatever authority you give them.
The resolution has not yet had a hearing, but Kaine is optimistic.
With Jeff as my partner, I mean, gosh, of course it's going to happen.
In Washington, Fraser Allen Best, Cronkite News.
Arizona Senator John McCain is continuing his speaking tour, and last night it brought him to where his career of service began. Reporter Bailey Vogt was there as McCain addressed the Corps of Midshipmen at the U.S. Naval Academy.
It is a noble cause. It is your cause, and it's worth living and dying for.
Senator John McCain has given a number of high-profile speeches since being diagnosed with brain cancer this summer, but his address Monday to midshipmen at the Naval Academy may have been the most emotional yet.
You will make sacrifices for your fellow Americans who won't be asked to make sacrifices for you. That's your calling. Thank you for accepting it.
Alexander Laraldi from Litchfield Park said that seeing his senator speak was impactful in a way that his non-Arizona classmates could not understand.
They see him as a POW graduate of the Naval Academy and a naval officer, but I see him as a little more someone who represents the home state of Arizona and who is representing the people I know back in Arizona, and that just means a lot to me.
Midshipmen have to be nominated to the Academy by a congressman from their state, and for Madeline Arbogast from Sarita, that meant a personal connection to seeing McCain speak.
Guys, that's my senator. He nominated me. Like, he's the reason I'm here, and so I was just really happy to be able to know him on a more personal level than the rest of the brigade.
As in other recent speeches, McCain urged his audience to reject the partisan thinking that he says has divided us domestically and isolated us internationally.
We have to remind our sons and daughters that we became the most powerful nation on earth by tearing down walls, not building them.
McCain's message was one about the struggles we face, but also one of hope in what America can be.
I believe in Americans. We're capable of better. I've seen it. We're hopeful, compassionate people. And we still have leaders who will uphold the values that made America great.
That message resonated most with Colin Judstra from Tucson, who said this speech generated a sense of pride for the Arizona midshipmen.
He has seen the best and the worst of our country, and honestly, for him to keep that much positivity in what we believe in and the power that we hold as a world power, it's very, very awesome to see.
In Annapolis, Bailey Vogt, Cronkite News.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And a Valley Police Department is working to help domestic violence victims. Coming up on Cronkite News, how this department is teaming up with the medical community to study concussions.
Plus how one Valley school is helping students succeed through the most important meal of the day.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now, more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in! Arizona State wins! Heaving one deep, and it is caught! Jalen Strong! Do you believe it?
Today is the final day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and One Valley Police Department is collaborating with the medical community to study concussions in domestic violence victims.
People being reported being punched in the head numerous times, kicked in the head.
There are cases when they probably did have a concussion at that point, but we've never even gone that route yet.
Mesa police officers respond to approximately 200 domestic violence-related calls every week. They're working with a research team to determine how frequently victims do have concussions. Police officers will be equipped with a new device to help identify concussions more quickly. If a concussion is suspected, Honor Health physicians will treat them as part of the study. The study is expected to last 1 year.
For students in One Valley School, breakfast really is the most important meal of the day. As Marcia Opong reports, starting the school day with a full stomach is making a difference in the classroom.
We get cereal, we get granola with yogurt, we get sausage with pancake.
Christopher Gomez, a 6th grader at Jasinski Elementary School, says with all of the choices for free breakfast, he still has a favorite.
My favorite type of breakfast would be the yogurt and granola. I just like it, just crunchy, and reminds me of cereal.
The new Breakfast in the Classroom program is designed to ensure students start the school day with a nutritious meal.
We run under what's called the Community Eligible Provision, which allows all of our children to eat for free at all of our schools in the district. So we receive reimbursements from the USDA for each meal that we serve each child.
The school serves about 400 students each morning, which is twice as much of what they serve in any of their other campuses. Principal Dr. Donna Fitzgerald says this program has had a tremendous impact on the students.
They're coming in calmer, they're coming in more ready to start their day. They have some time to just kind of adjust to the classroom. They have some time to socialize over a meal. They just seem to be more ready to engage in their education.
Jasinski is the first school in the Buckeye District with the program, but there are plans to expand it.
We are piloting a second school starting in January with the hopes of that going well.
Dr. Fitzgerald says they want to continue the program as long as the funding is available. In Buckeye, Marcia Opong, Cronkite News.
According to the school, national studies have demonstrated that eating a nutritious breakfast lowers the rate of absences, school nurse visits, and more.
Sunny skies are the norm here in the valley.
And even as the weather begins to cool down, the sun stays up. Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a look at a Tempe initiative, bringing more shade to the desert.
Your trick-or-treating forecast is coming up.
this fall.
I'm so excited!
What? From the inspiring to the amazing.
You're in the presence of history.
The compelling.
He said, welcome home. It was just a powerful moment.
To the astounding.
I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
And from the breathtaking.
This is real.
A journey to Mars.
To the electrifying.
We're going to change the world.
All this and more. All this fall.
Oh my God!
Fridays.
TRAM that would take visitors from
News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for @Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
The Navajo Nation Tribal Council is holding a special meeting right now to discuss the future of the Grand Canyon Escalade project. The project is proposed by a Scottsdale-based development group. It would have restaurants and a hotel on 420 acres of land, along with an aerial tram that would take visitors from the East Rim to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The proposal has already gone through several standing tribal council committees. If passed, the Navajo Nation would have to invest $65 million. The development could be operational as early as May of 2021. The Tribal Council needs a 2/3 vote in order to pass the proposal, and they have until midnight to make their decision.
Bisbee has bagged its bag ban. The city revised an ordinance prohibiting retailers from giving disposable plastic bags to customers. The ban violated a state law that put restrictions on imposing mandates on businesses that use plastic bags. Bisbee faced a loss of state funds of about $2 million if it kept the ban in place. The city AG said that losing the money would be a death sentence for the city.
Over the weekend, the park surrounding the Tempe Center for the Arts got a little upgrade. Cronkite News reporter Emily Bloom is in the studio to throw some shade on the situation.
Over the years, the parks along Tempe Town Lake have lost quite a few trees due to storms. So to replace some of those trees and to jumpstart a new goal to increase shade areas all around Tempe, a group of volunteers spent their Saturday morning digging up dirt.
Parks along Tempe Town Lake are due for some improvement.
They give us paper and they give us oxygen.
And while these Girl Scouts weren't exactly experts when they started,
Nothing so far.
they caught on quickly.
There you go.
This event marks the first big step towards a goal of 25% tree and shade cover on city property within Tempe.
To help the community.
As city officials work to achieve that goal by 2040, Arizona State University partnered with them to learn exactly how much shade these new trees will provide.
There will be a small benefit in terms of the cooling that's provided from the 100 trees we planted today, but I think creating a more inviting space is really our purpose out here.
David Hondula studies heat in urban areas, how it affects people, and what can be done to make it more bearable.
What we see behind us here is a bit of a designed experiment.
There are different types of trees in different places scattered throughout the parks,
which we hope can shed light on similar projects in other places around the city. What arrangement and configuration of trees do people find most appealing, most inviting, and produce the greatest environmental benefits in terms of cooling?
This is a longer-term project.
It's going to take a long time for these little guys to grow into be big, beautiful trees.
And they hope that the volunteers planting trees here will inspire others to donate their time.
Many folks who are just out here to lend a hand, and that gave me a lot of optimism that the future could be a green and cool one for our city.
Now, while those trees will certainly be a big benefit to all of us most days out of the year, today, Mother Nature is providing a little bit of cloud cover of her own. We are sitting at 84 under mostly cloudy skies. Across the state at the moment, we've got 61 in Show Low, 78 down in Tucson, 62 up at the Grand Canyon, and 81 in Lake Havasu. Taking a look at our trick-or-treating forecast for the evening, nothing spooky about this. 5 p.m. as you're trying to get those kids fed and in their costumes, we'll be at 80 degrees. 7 p.m. as they are making their way around the neighborhood, we'll fall into those high 70s. And then 9 p.m. once they're sorting out all that candy and getting ready for bed, we'll be back down into the low 70s. Taking a look at our futurecast, we've got this area of low pressure that has moved in from the California coast. That is what has brought all of the cloud cover and the cooler temperatures that we are seeing today. It is going to continue to track east tomorrow, and then we'll be back under clear blue skies once again, but we will be holding on to those cooler temperatures. Taking a look at the bigger picture, once again, we have got this area of low pressure developing up in the Pacific Northwest. The thing that's different about this one is that it has got quite a bit of precipitation associated with that storm. It's going to be moving south in the coming days, and it could be bringing us rainfall here in the valley by the beginning of next week. We are now at 60 days without any kind of rain, so we could certainly use that. We are going to be holding on to that high of 82 through Friday. By Saturday, we bounce up a couple degrees to 84 degrees, and then we are once again looking at a high of 82 with those overnight temps in the low 60s, and it looks like our fall weather has officially arrived. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Emily Bloom.
Dia de los Muertos, an annual holiday celebrated in the Mexican culture and by those of Mexican descent, has rituals dating back almost 3,000 years. Starting today, this 3-day celebration honors loved ones who have passed on and is seen as a joyous time to remember the departed with music, food, dancing, and art. The Day of the Dead has cultural influences from both indigenous Aztec rituals and the Catholic Church. Skulls and skeletons are key symbols of the holiday, often portrayed as happy and enjoying the afterlife. The holiday officially comes to an end on November 2nd.
The holiday we know as Halloween has some of the same origins. It's celebrated on the eve of the Christian festival of All Souls and is historically viewed as a time when souls and evil spirits alike could wander freely across the earth. The word Halloween is of Scottish origin, meaning Hallows Evening, but similar celebrations date back 2,000 years to the Celtic festival of Samhain, which was associated with the end of the harvest and involved leaving gifts on doorsteps for deceased ancestors. The smell of grease paint and
the roar of Thunderbird High School students. Coming up on Cronkite News, one Valley teacher's legacy is honored on stage. For 40 years, one teacher taught at Thunderbird High School. As Cronkite News reporter Monica Sampson shows us, after her passing, several generations of alumni are working to remember her legacy to the arts.
There it is. This one is super great.
Karen Duckworth Barnes, Thunderbird theater student from class of '96, pores over photo albums, remembering Jane McSpadden, known fondly as Mac.
I just think it's funny that my picture ends up next to her picture.
Mac started teaching theater at Thunderbird in 1977 and didn't retire until 2003. But she stayed with the school's theater program until 2013 when she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer and passed away soon after.
And by the time I realized that, okay, I need to go see her, I need to say goodbye, it was too late. And that has been really hard this whole time. It's been probably one of my greatest regrets is that I didn't get to tell her thank you and I didn't get to say goodbye.
Duckworth Barnes knew if she felt this way, other students might too. So she created the Mac Memorial for alumni to share the hundreds of letters, shows, and memorabilia from their late teacher, all of which culminates with a school play.
4 generations of students experienced Mac as their teacher, and in 1999, they performed the very same play that today's students will be performing in.
When she passed away, I thought, you know, she really loved this play, and she never got to see the adaptation that we're doing right now, but she would have loved it, And so I said, let's just do this in her memory.
One major adaptation to the play, students will be acting alongside Thunderbird alumni from every generation. Students like junior Maddie Fowler.
To see how two different generations of Thunderbird theater students have really come together to form one show.
Proceeds from the play will go toward a marquee project in Mac's honor. But for now, Thunderbird is celebrating Mac the only way they know how, through theater.
That is Mac. The fact that people can say, Mac meant everything to me. She saved my life. She was the best part of my high school experience. I wouldn't be here today if she hadn't been my teacher. I hear it over and over again, dozens of times. That's why this project exists.
In Phoenix, Monica Sampson, Cronkite News.
If you want to see The Boys of Winter, it runs November 3rd and 4th at Thunderbird High School, and all proceeds go to benefit the Marquee Project.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll talk about changes made to enrollment for healthcare plans under the Affordable Care Act. And we'll hear about an event to honor local veterans. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, our America Addicted series continues with a focus on prevention. That's Tuesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.